Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a look at extension methods. An extension method is a new language feature that is part of the .NET 3.5 or C# 3.0. And basically an extension method allows the developer to add a new method to an existing type without having to subclass it or recompile it. What I'd like to do today is I'd like to actually add an extension method. I refer to them as helper methods. An extension method to my Dimecast website that allows me to render the .NET Kicks logo HTML. I like to do this because I need it in both my website as well as my domain model in order to generate things like the RSS feed. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and put my extension method inside of a folder called extensions. I like to keep them here, just kind of keeps them all organized and together. I'm going to go ahead and create a class. I'm going to call this the HTML helper extensions. Now notice I ended it with the word extensions. This is a fairly wide practice. It allows everybody to know that inside of this class is a bunch of extension methods, or a single extension method if you need be. The first thing you need to know about extension method is in order for the class to be valid and the extension method to be valid inside the class must be public and static. Without being public and static, you're not going to get the results you're looking for. Next, the method itself must also be public and static. Now I'm going to have a return type of string, but any valid CLR type is valid to be returned from an extension method, or you can actually have the extension method be void. Now I'm going to right now just have this return string.empty for me. And right now this is not an extension method, this is simply a helper method. What makes it an extension method is the addition of the keyword this. This basically tells the compiler that the object type that comes after this is what we're looking to extend. And the object type I want to extend is cast episode item. Cast episode item has the values I need, such as the ID and the name of the episode, and I want to extend this and add the helper method to it. Now, I then just go ahead and name the variable with value, and let's go ahead and get to the meat of it. I actually want to do some string formatting, so I'm actually just going to copy some HTML I've already got generated over here. And I'm going to go ahead and do value.episode ID and value.episode name. This will render the HTML necessary to add the .NET Kicks logo. It's a pretty straightforward method. Not a lot to it, no business logic. Let's go ahead and compile this and see what happens. And everything succeeded, so I'm good to go here. Now what I'd like to do is actually implement this extension method inside my code. I have this HTML page here. Now I want to add the code here. Now, without the extension methods, what I'd actually be doing is calling HTML helper extensions.generate.nextKick logo, and I would have to provide it the object model I want to use. This here is nothing more than a helper method. This is not an extension method. In order for this to be an extension method, I need to get rid of all this here. And now you'll notice that on my view data, which is of type cast episode item, I have a new method in the IntelliSense called generate.nextKick logo. Now what I want you to do is pay special attention to this little down arrow, this little blue icon that's next to the word generate.nextKick logo. This blue icon is the indicator that this is an extension method. You'll find this in the IntelliSense on any object that has methods that are extension methods. Pay close attention to this because you may be using extension methods and not even knowing they're extension methods. So I can go ahead and click that and finish it. Now one thing to pay attention to here is I'm not going to actually provide anything as a parameter. Now with the helper method, if I was doing it as a helper method, I would have to provide it. But because it's an extension method and I use the magical keyword this, which tells the compiler that I'm extending this particular type, it now just acts as if it's an everyday method. I could add parameters to this, but maybe I need to pass an integer or a string or a boolean or whatever the case may be, in which case I would then pass this in. Let's go ahead and compile this, make sure it compiles. And it does. Now let's go ahead and run this, see if it works. We'll give this a second to fire up for us. And if all goes well, when I click on this link, I should be able to go down to the bottom of the screen and actually see my .NET Kicks logo. And sure enough, it's right there. Let's go ahead and come over to our code and actually put a breakpoint right here. And let's refresh the screen and make sure we can hit our breakpoint. And we can, so you can see that it passes in the object model that is in the HTML. And there you go, so I can step into it. So view data contains the valid piece of the data I have. And it'll just call the method just as if it's a normal object call an everyday method. So there you go. What did we learn today? We learned that creating an extension method is extremely easy and can be a very effective way to extend an object in which you don't have rights to, or you maybe don't own the code. One common scenario is extending like the string type within .NET. You can't recompile that or subclass that, so extending string becomes very powerful. You can do things like maybe call string.to phone number. Format a string to a valid phone number format. In order to create an extension method, the class that holds the method must be public and static. The method itself also must be public and static. It can have any valid return type. And in order for it to be a valid extension method, you need to put the this keyword. If I remove the this keyword, it is now just a static helper method. This keyword allows it to become the extension. And then we went over and we reviewed how to actually use it, and it's essentially just the object model you're extending, and then the method name, and then we actually took a look at the down arrow that's in the little icon that tells us it's an extension method via the IntelliSense. Well, there you go. I hope you learned something today, and until next time.